talk, Moonword talk, Moonword talk, Moonword talk, Moonword talk. Yeah, we.
I know you don't like me saying this. I also don't like saying this. If it's your first time you're just seeing this show, I give you for free. You don't need to subscribe. But if this is your second time or any time, I endeavor you to please subscribe to our channel. We see it's just like a donation, and the more you guys subscribe, the more we get to reach all these people. And if you can just do that, me and my team, we're going to give you the best podcast. Thank you very much.
So, Koshimo, before we dive into the question for the day, you understand? Who were
Yes.
you at 21? Who were you at 21?
Who was I at 21? That's quite interesting. Now, let me do a quick maths. Who
Okay.
was I at 21? I like that question. So let me see. 21. Now, 21, I was a young Nigerian
Mm-hmm.
who thought everything was possible. The future is going to be sorted. Didn't worry too much about the future as much. The goal was go to school, get a degree, get to university, and the future was going to sort itself out. So I wasn't worried so much about, enjoying life, going out with friends. I wasn't really a party person, but I did go out every now and then. And then I'd always had something for wisdom. So I've been listening to Dr. Mike Murdoch, Dr. Miles Monroe, and Bishop Oyedepo. Those three
That's
were actually
amazing.
they were the cornerstone of the tapes. I was a few weeks ago, a few months ago, I was going through my archive and I could still have those tape recorders that those tape will go like that so they don't get tangled. So I listened to them. I'd always liked that. But 21, I wasn't prepared for the world that was ahead of me. I took a lot of things for granted. I made a lot of assumptions. I assumed life was going to come to me regardless of what I did. I assumed the future is there to be taken without preparing. I didn't know I had to contend for the destiny I actually had ahead of me. So I was kind of like on cruise control. Let me use that word. So that was why I was like 21. At that age, girls are still getting your attention, things like that. So a lot of the usual youthful, distraction here and there. So that was what I was like around 21, if I could remember very well.
That's amazing. So this question, when we had everything sorted out. So one question was in my mind, you understand? What was that one um biggest mistake you made about investing before anything? Before Coach Mo becomes who Coach Mo is?
The biggest mistake I made about investing was number one was never starting. Number two, I never really understood what it was all about.
Mm,
I was not, because I remember back then, yep, investing was not really talked about much, which will bring us to another thing is financial literacy.
yeah,
Financial
of course,
literacy
yeah.
was really never a thing. What we were focused on there is make sure you have your A's, make sure you pass
Mm,
JAM, make sure you pass GCE, make sure you get to university. Now, whatever happens after then, don't worry. When you finish university, there's this thinking of it's almost guaranteed there is something out there, an offer for you to take. So all through that process, I call it the 16 years of our education, there was nothing that prepared me or taught me or nudged me into the direction of investing is important. What is investing? We didn't know that 21. I didn't even, I knew I had to have extra cash because I'm one of those people, I don't like running out of money. So if I have 10,000, I would only probably spend maybe 4 or 5 because I know a raining day will come so I can go back to that. But I never saw that 5 I kept as the seed I needed to plant so I can actually have the forest thereafter. So it was until about, let's say, the reality did not really dawn on me that much until I lost my dad 16 years ago, thereabout.
mm,
So I think the reality was life was on cruise control, was on autopilot, So I thought everything was going to be fine. But when that happened, it was that moment I realized that, wow, life is not what I thought it was going to be. And everything seemed like turned completely upside down. And I now began to now understand a few other things in life. And my dad was a hard worker, is a workaholic. So I had the work ethic from him. One thing I did not see there is I did not really learn a lot about investing, So, but my dad, he was a workaholic. So generating income was something I understood. Managing and retaining it, which is a different thing, and multiplying it was a different thing, was the part I really never, I was like, you know what, I'm going to be around. Probably maybe daddy will be around for a lot longer. So, plan B is always there. There's going to be that.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
those were the things that were, so not until about 16 years ago, that was when I had the reset button, the wake up call that I have to do something now, else life would not be as interesting as it would be. So for me, that was really what happened to me. The wake up call was 16 years ago. I wish it was a lot sooner than that, but yeah, that was it for me.
I think your next smart move is learn to value your potential. Let me show you Moonword Golf Town, a unique development just outside Lagos, designed as full-on golfing city. You sabi am now, residential and commercial plots, off-plan homes, lakeside, waterfronts, and even a 9-hole golf course, strategically positioned along one of the busiest expressway in the southwest, with over 9 to 16 million visitors annually. Think about it. Over 100 plots sold. You could be the next owner. People are saying the vision, and I want you to see this vision too. The future is being built already. If you are thinking about the long-term version, long-term stuff, 10 years from now, 15 years, 25 years from now, this is for you. You need to invest in Moonword Golf, invest in lifestyle, and invest in your future.
That's amazing. So, now we want to dive into the money traps. There's a lot of things happening on the internet. A lot of people see certain type of lifestyle and they feel like, oh, I deserve to have this type of lifestyle as well. So, what are the three biggest financial lies or trap 18 to 28 years old falls into today? What are the biggest traps?
The biggest trap an 18 to 28-year-old fall for there is they feel that is they are the peak at the zenith of their life at that age. 18 to 28, you've not even started life.
Hmm. Um,
So,
I have a lot of DMs. You understand? I have a lot
yeah,
of DMs, and I'm going to be asked a question from those DMs as well. But
okay.
before we get there, so why do they keep falling into those traps? Why? What makes them fall into those
What,
traps?
it's a multidimensional question, but let me approach it from this way. There are some things that as long as you wake up, the sun is ever there. The same sun we had 5,000 years is the same
Okay,
sun that comes out today.
that's true.
Technology does not change principle. Gravity has been there since the earth was created. The fact that back then we were riding horses, now we're flying planes, does not remove gravity. The principles required for wealth generation will not change. The processes, the methods, the systems, and all of that around it might change with time. But the principle, there's one core principle called the principle of process.
Okay.
The principle of process is what requires growth. Now, everybody will live in a microwave world. Those days when you're hungry, you get the thing you need to cook, you cook it. It takes you probably minimum of an hour to get the food ready. Right
Yes, yes.
now, you get the food, you put it in the microwave, under 2 minutes, it gets it out. And we think life is all about microwave. That means you can make money overnight, you become wealthy overnight. And because everything is trying to sell something to you, they're selling us a future that we do not actually belong or we need to look into to start with. At 28 years old, you have no business thinking you've arrived in life. That is the peak of when you have the strength to actually begin to build a life you want out of life. And then because our lives are controlled by algorithm, and see, everything is about attention.
That's true.
So if you're selling your attention, looking at a lifestyle which you emulating, you want to get, taking out the principles that makes you to build wealth, then you become valuable to whatever happens. It is a process. You can never take, see,
Mm,
when you jump up, You can touch whatever it's there, you're coming down. It's guaranteed. It's a law of life.
Yeah, that's
When you
true.
grow, when you get to a level, you never come down. Jumping is quick to touch that thing and come down. I remember those days when there were fruit trees and we want to probably get the fruit. We jump, our hand might touch it, but we come down. It's quick. You touch the reality of what you're wanting, but you come down, it's guaranteed you will come down. When you grow through life, it takes time, but whatever level you attain through growth, you maintain that level. Everybody is jumping to touch a lifestyle that is way beyond their reach.
It's true.
Everybody is looking at what I call the outliers. See, the outliers are not data we go by. And the outliers could be, okay, there is a young 21-year-old in a different part of the world that is successful. There is a young 28 years old that is actually successful. There is this, there is that. I know, but there are 8 billion people on earth. Look at the statistics and look at the reality. Remove the outliers. What is the data telling you? The data is actually
That's true.
telling you you're where you need to be to start with. So because the world has become a global village, that means if somebody sneezes in America, we can hear it today. We open those devices, and because of the algorithm, they already know how valuable we are. They take us to a young kid who is probably in somewhere that is actually falsifying the life they live. And then we all just want that life. And all of a sudden, you see young people are doing desperate things
That's true.
because they want to. I remember back those days when we used to watch the, American music. I grew up in the age whereby it was all about American music that was reigning then. The Biggie, the Tupac, and all of that. And when you
Mm-hmm.
watch them, see the way they put all the blings on and all of the cars they drive and all of that. Now, how many of them back then is still sustaining the wealth till now?
True.
We were all
That's true.
we want to be like them then. But even with the wealth they had then, I remember MC Hammer then, they were all loaded then. But where are they today? Definitely not at that same level of wealth. It's only one to five of them that actually really sustain and grew the wealth. So right now is the same thing again that is happening. A different crew of people who are successful. Everybody wants to be the next Bono Boy. Everybody wants to be a
Mm-hmm.
Davido. Everybody wants to be this. And these are just outliers. They are not the right representation of the population we have. So I tell people it's good for you to aspire and perspire, but wake up, smell the coffee where you are. You can build a life that could actually give you financial freedom you want. It might not be at that level you're saying, but always cut your coat below your size.
Always cut your coat below your size.
Yep.
Mhm. I like that. I like that. So there's this guy, you understand? He's one of the DMs, he's 23 years old. He doesn't have any means of income. So he told me that one of his uncle, he stays in Canada, said, okay, this is the 1 million naira I can help you with. He gave him that 1 million naira. He said he doesn't even know what he wants to do, and he's still courting one of his friends. What type of advice would you give to that person?
The problem, what I'll tell the person there is, let me give you an example. There is somebody we all know very well. It's Mike Tyson. During Mike Tyson's lifetime, when Mike Tyson was fighting, adjusted for inflation, Mike Tyson made over $600 million within the 10 years of his fight. Mike Tyson is barely worth 10 million right now because what I see, you can get money without financial literacy, you will squander it all.
Sure.
So the first thing I'll tell the person there is calm down, go and find knowledge. Get the knowledge that is required, and knowledge is not always free.
That's true.
Get the knowledge as regards to financial literacy. Have somebody who has a path, who is established, who you know has been there. Sit under them and when they teach you, learn. Listen to what they say and then begin to build your own financial decision muscles.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, then decide what to do with the money, because whatever you do with that money now, you're going to waste it.
That's true.
My favorite book says something. It said, the labor of the fool wearieth him because he knoweth not how to get into the city. So that
Mm,
means, and what it's saying there is a foolish man that actually works so hard will struggle because they don't have directions. That means they don't
yes.
have the knowledge. The problem is not money. Your problem is wisdom. You don't know what to do with it.
The seek
No,
wisdom.
yeah, it's not what you make, it's what you keep.
It's not what you make it. That's true.
It's
Yeah,
what you
that's
keep.
true.
It is
That's
wisdom
true.
that makes you know what to keep and how to keep.
It's wisdom.
Yeah.
It's wisdom.
So get the
I
knowledge.
just I just even finished reading the richest man in Babylon, you know. But
Uh,
that book really opened my eyes to understand something different. And it there's this chapter there, the goddess of good luck.
the
So it
goddess of
says
good luck.
something, yeah, it says something that good lucks only approach those who act, those who back up their words with actions. So
Yep.
it means that if you don't work it, good luck can find you. So
Yep.
that comes with there's a lot of people asking me questions, you know. I told them I'm bringing someone that is going to clear off all these questions you're asking me. They're asking me that what's the difference between saving and investing? That I can save my money now. Do I need to invest? That investment is high risk. I don't want to lose my money. I would love you to just give us very deep
Okay.
enlightenment about it.
Saving and investing are two different things. Now,
Okay,
the first example is 1 plus 1,
that's true.
2 plus 2,
That's for
4 plus 4,
that's it.
1 times 1,
That's one.
2 times 2,
That's two. Mm,
2 times 2, 4,
yeah.
four
Two
times
times two
4,
is four.
four
That's
times
16.
4,
That's 16.
16. 4 plus 4 is 8, 4 times 4 is 16.
Mm,
So when it comes to savings, savings is the foundation. That means what comes in and what goes out, what is left, you have a savings. A savings is what is there to save you on the day of emergency.
okay.
This is very critical. That is why emergency fund is very, very important. Emergency will happen to everybody. You do not invest everything you have. You have a pot for saving and you have a pot for investing. They are two different things.
Okay.
Saving means there is a liquid cash I have access to when emergency happens. I'm saving it.
Mm-hmm.
Investment means I take the money, look into the market, and I put the money to work for me. Your
Okay.
savings would only give you at the best the minimum bank return rate. Let's take, for instance, in Nigeria now, I think savings will give you something around 22% or 20%.
I know, right?
To get that, yeah, per annum. Inflation in Nigeria is between 30 to 37%.
Mm-hmm.
That means your money in the saving is already losing value by 17 to 15, 17%. Number one. When you now take the money to go and invest it, what you're now saying there is this is where you now need to go and get knowledge. See,
Okay.
most of us, we want to do the investing by ourselves. When your car breaks down, sometimes you open the bonnet, you check is the battery loose. That's all you can do. If it's beyond that, what do? You go and call a mechanic, don't you?
Yes, that's true.
When you buy a piece of clothes and you want to wear the clothes, do you sew it by yourself? You look for a tailor.
That's true.
When you are sick, besides you using paracetamol and it's persistent, what do? You go to see a doctor. That means you go to consult a specialist.
That's true.
You don't go on Google and begin to think of how to do brain surgery by yourself. No, you go to a specialist.
That's possible.
But when it comes to our money, we assume because we seems to be intelligent in one area, we can transfer that intelligence into financial literacy. I have seen broke accountants because
Mm,
financial literacy, it is not about the numbers. It is about you understanding the principle of money, you knowing what money is. So when it comes to now investing is you taking seeds and you planting the seeds and the seed grows. It takes time, There's no guarantee that everything will return. But when you carefully decide on what you invest in and you don't just invest in one thing, that is why we have something called asset classes. You pick different asset classes so that if
Okay.
one does not work, one will work. If you invest in finance, you invest in agriculture, you invest in IT. So if something happens to finance, agriculture will be okay. If something happens to agriculture, IT will be okay. Now, that is investing. So you putting your money to work is investing. Now, the mistake we make now there is if life happens, because we have used all our money, we've put it into investments, we now go to that investment. Now, if the investment is going through a bad period,
Okay.
we will be forced to sell it at a loss and we will say it's a bad investment. It is not. It is our strategy that was bad. We've not given the
True.
investment enough time to grow. See, your investment will not save you in the days of an emergency. It is your emergency fund that will save you on the day of emergency. Your investment is there to be there for you in the future. And future should be not something between 5, 10, 15 years. It is not because you have 100K now and you need it in 6 months and you say, what can I invest it in? You probably lose it. So it's understanding the differences there. And nobody got wealthy by saving. Go and check the data and the history. I love data a lot. I've not seen one person that became wealthy from saving. In the richest man in Babylon, when Akkad and Kobe, when they went to meet their friend that is wealthy, he did not tell them he made his money from saving.
Mm-mm.
He
You
had his
didn't.
money in different investments. He still had savings too. So it's being able to understand the dynamics. They are two different things. At the foundation, start with saving. From the saving, begin to set a percentage aside for investing because investing takes time. And this is one thing the youths of this generation don't understand. They lack patience. They want something that you put 100K in and it becomes 200K in 1 week. They want something that will turn it around. No, building wealth takes time. You can be rich overnight. You can never be wealthy overnight. That is
Yeah,
why
that's
people
two. That's two different things, right?
do different things. Riches and wealth are two different things. You can win a lottery tomorrow and become rich. It doesn't make you wealthy. You build wealth.
Wealth.
Wealth is not in the volume of the money you have. That's why when they will say Elon Musk is worth this, Dangote is worth this, they're not telling you the riches of the money he has physically. It is the value of the assets they've invested in. Those are part of them building wealth. So it's very clear they're two different things. Savings and investing are two different concepts.
That's amazing. So my next question is should every young person have a side hustle? Should every young person have a side hustle?
Now, this is the question. Now, the word hustle, it's a thing of what I tell people there is there are we are blessed in a generation right now that there are more ways to generate income than there were before.
That's true. Yeah.
As long as you have a phone, you have an internet, you have an opportunity to generate wealth. So for a young person, do all you can within the legal parameters for you to learn. When I mean learn, I'm not saying just go to school and get a degree. I mean, find a particular field that you really want to grow in. Immerse yourself in the field. And while you're doing that, you can also be doing things on the side that brings you income. You should not have one stream of income. There
Shouldn't.
should be more than one stream of income. A stool has a minimum of 3 legs.
Yeah, that's true.
So you must have more than one source of income. Look at the wealthiest people on earth. They have more than one wings in which Dangote is the one everybody knows in Nigeria. You know he has tomato, he has cement, he has sugar, he
Everything.
has petrol. Now, it it's very difficult for you to stop him from growing because there are multiple channels that money is flowing in. You now take that model as a young person and think of how do I build and where do I start? So if the word is hustle means you need to hustle, please hustle within
Also,
the legal anything that will you know that will damage your reputation on the long term.
mm,
Never participate because of a short-term gain.
you shouldn't participate.
See, time flies. In the next 10 years, when you're 18, you're 28. Why damage your 28 because you want to make 2 million at 18?
True.
If you're 28, 10 years makes you 38. Why damage your 38 because you want to make a quick 5 million? And then 10 years later, you're suffering the consequences of that. There are
Mm,
so many legit way for you to build wealth.
so many.
So many. Hard work is required. Thinking smart is required. But whatever the case is, hustle the right way. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So I want to go back to you said something about emergency fund. Okay, how many percent out of 100% should someone keep into his emergency savings? Like, I want you to split it for me. How much should I spend? How much should I keep? How much should I save? How much should I invest out of 100%?
Okay. Now, this is something, one size does not fit all, but I will give you a framework. Now, a
Okay.
framework means everybody will adjust it based on what and where they are. And the framework is this: your housing and accommodation, your forward, your transportation, and all of that, it should not be more than 50% of what you take in.
Okay. Shouldn't be more than 50%.
If you're flexing it, make it 60 at the most. You should save a minimum of 20%. I tell you this, you should give at least a minimum of 10%.
Like charity.
Now, it's now up to every individual. See, there is a principle in life. Go and study all the wealthy people. They are all amazing givers.
That's true.
There is he that holdeth and has none, and there is he that scattereth and increases.
Mm,
The multiplication is in the division.
yes, that's true.
You don't have to have a lot before you begin to build the habit to give. Some people say, when I have more, I'll give. No, if you cannot give 10 naira from your 1,000, you will not give 1,000 from your 100,000.
That's true.
And then the remaining 20%, now there are wants in life that could go towards your wants. But this
Mm,
is what I teach people to do. Don't start with what you're consuming. Take the 20% out first.
okay.
Now deal with the rest. Warren Buffett says this: the wealthy, they save, they spend the rest. The rest of the world, they spend and save the rest.
What does that mean? I don't understand.
What it means there is, when you have 10,000, you
Okay.
take 2,000 first, you put into an account. Now, whatever is left, deal with it. But do you know what
Mm,
we do? When we have the 10,000, we pay all the bills, we do everything else, and then we think whatever is left, eventually we will try and save out of it.
yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
It's called pay yourself first.
I think I've read that at Rich Dad and Poor Dad. I think
Reach that
something.
for that, yeah.
Yeah,
The,
Educator. He
the
said something
wealthy
like that.
always pay themselves first.
Yeah, that's true. They always.
So save first. See, life bills will continue to happen.
Yeah.
Now, let's go back to the rich. I'm glad you talk about the richest man in Babylon. I've read that book more than 20 times. There was a story of a guy who was in debt. So when he started working, this is the strategy he does. From what he earned and owed people, from the 10 silver coins, he took one silver coin and he saved it. and he shared the remaining amongst the people he had. After a while, he realized that the money is setting aside, he slowly began to grow.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Ever the circumstance you are, always remember this: pay thyself first. Now, I call that portion save, never spend. Most of us, we think, okay, when I take that money, after a while, when it becomes something big, I go and spend it on something. No, that's not how you build wealth. You don't eat your seed. Because you set a seed aside does not mean because the seed is now big, you consume everything. And we make that mistake. You've been saving money, and after 6 months, you check your savings like, wow, I've saved this amount. And you take it and say, let me go and treat myself. And then you take 6 months of savings to go and treat yourself. And you come back, you feel, yes, I deserve it. I only live once. It's my money. We know. But what about your future self in 10 years, your future self in 20 years? What will that future self tell you? You deserve only what you can afford. Nobody owes you nothing. Life owes you nothing.
That's amazing. Nobody owes you nothing. Life
Nobody owes you
owes you
nothing, not
nothing.
even your parents. It's a
Hmm.
privilege, anything they give to you.
It's a privilege.
It's a privilege. See,
I I'm listening. I'm
when you
listening.
have when you have this entitlement mentality, you will never build wealth because you feel everything should be handed over to you.
Yeah, that comes
You will
down.
blame the government. You will blame the church. You will blame this. You will blame that. You will blame your teachers. You will blame everybody but yourself. The true
Yeah,
people
that's
that change worlds, they are the people that they accept their current situation. Nonetheless, they took responsibility. I'm not saying it's perfect,
I understand.
but don't your destiny is too big for you to put it at the mercy of any government or at the mercy of anybody. It is up to you to take out of life that which is your portion from life.
That's amazing. And that's facts. I listened to one of your podcasts. I think, yeah, you talked about most of the billionaire they came from nothing, you know.
Yep.
This, you know, there is this thing that is going on the internet. So people are always saying that certain people um get so much money than them because they have a rich father, because they have a rich background. How do I need to have a rich background before I get to the apex level of my career? Do I need to, do I need to have a very good foundation, like maybe studied in one of the most expensive schools in the country? Do I need all those things before I get to the apex of my career?
Nope.
How can we approach something like that?
See, they you are not responsible for how you get here, but you're responsible for what you do here. You are not responsible for who gave birth to you. You can't control it. You cannot control the nation you were born into. You cannot control who your parents are. Either they are rich, they are poor. You cannot control. The only thing you can control is how you turn out in life. Regardless of if you were born with a silver spoon or you were born with a wooden spoon. Data has shown us that almost over 60% of the richest people in the world, they are first generation wealth. What does that mean? Their father did not have nothing. See, it's too quick for us to pick people like Otedola, Dangote, and we just stop there. But when you do the research and look into Nigeria, look into Africa as a whole, there are so many wealthy people that they started from zero. Look at Tony Elumelu. Did Tony Elumelu's father handed him over the wealth he has currently right now?
There's no.
If he can do it, so can anybody else. See, God is a respecter of nobody. Let us stop fixating on the 2-3% that have been born into wealth.
Mm.
See, they've been born into wealth. Fine, get over it. They have an advantage. Fine, get over it. But right now, you cannot change how you arrive here, but you can change where you go from here. Look at the guys that built Paystack, Flutterwaves. Nobody talks about them much, but those guys, they are billionaire in their rights.
Mm-hmm.
But they grew up what? They grew up through the ranks. It's easy for us to just pick the few wealthy people and their children and all start doing this. That is part of we're not taking responsibility. We think the world owes us something. Your father is not rich, and so what? Then you change the family tree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
Complaining
not.
will never see people who complain don't build wealth. Because people who build wealth are too busy building wealth. Facebook is the first generation wealth.
That's true.
Yep. I did the research myself, and actually in Nigeria, it's almost 100% of the wealthiest. Nigeria is 200 to 250 population of Nigerians. When you look at the data as a whole, almost everybody, except a few you can count in your hands, are actually first generation wealth. First generation.
That's amazing. I love how you approach this. I really love it. So when you are not entitled to anything, you will be able to focus more on your life.
Exactly.
Is
Stop
it?
this entitlement mentality. Government owes me this. Yeah, he's able to do it because his father. Thank God, fine. What about you? Get on with it. See, it
Mhm.
is not a death sentence. Because you're born poor doesn't mean you have to die poor. Bill Gates says, you might be born poor. It is not your fault. But when you die poor, it is your fault.
That's facts.
Look around
Hmm.
you. There are people with lesser than your ability that have succeeded.
That's true. That's just it. That's just it. So why do you think so many people tie their self-worth to how much money they have? Why do you think so?
There's so many things to that. I think a lot of people don't really so wealth is in different dimensions. There's social wealth, there's financial wealth, there's spiritual wealth, there is relational wealth. There are different types of wealth. Most people tie their self-worth to what they have in terms of finances. And usually they are people who are rich, not wealthy people.
Hmm. That's true.
I'm not saying now, that's why I'm saying usually when you look at the top 20 richest people in the world, if you did not know who Aliko Dangote is, if you were walking on the streets and it walked past you, would you have known he's worth $26 billion? But
No.
you can see a young man that just made his first $500,000 that you can see him from head to toe is all blinging.
Hmm.
See, it is the mindset. The mindset requires to build wealth is different from the mindset that is required to be rich. Rich is noisy. Wealth is always quiet. Look at this man that owns Bella, what is it called? Macadenoga. Many
Yeah,
people
yeah.
don't really talk much about him. You don't see much on there. He's a very quiet person. A lot of the wealthy people we know, if you did not know, there was a time this guy came to Nigeria. When you look at Bill Gates when he came to Nigeria, most of the wealthy people, when you see them, they are so casual because the process of building wealth has to do with renewal of your mindset. It is the mind that changes that builds the wealth. But everybody is fixated on riches because riches is loud. And
It's
Yoruba says
noisy.
something. They said it is the empty barrel that makes the most noise. So
That's true.
people who are fixated on their wealth are usually people who have a few riches here and there. And they're using that to validate something that is missing in them.
That's good. Bill Gates even came to Nigeria recently. He was even featured in one of the skit maker comedy. I was surprised, I was very, very surprised that someone like it was over $100 billion.
Yep.
Why will you feature it out? I was just thinking it in my mind. I was just thinking it. So it means that wealth is very quiet. You don't need to show off. You don't need to do anything. You just need a
You don't
new
need to impress
mindset.
anybody. See,
You don't need to
I
impress
don't have to
anybody.
impress you.
I don't need to impress you.
It's poverty mentality that makes me think now that I have money, I have to impress you. I have to show you. You know, they will take, they must know, they must, I have arrived. Who are you announcing to?
That's what. That's true. It's the poverty mentality
It is
here. You said.
poverty mentality that makes you think because you have now, everybody needs to know you have. So you go and do things you cannot afford because you need to. There's a book called Stop Acting Rich. You need to show people that you are rich. There's so much, you know, this topic you just raised now. There's so many reasons why this is the case. But most of the time, it's self validation. You know the statement, don't you know who I am?
Mhm.
You know, what does that statement mean? Don't you know who I am? Who are you? God? No, you're not. So it is about you understanding that when we get to the point whereby there is a change of our mindset, we begin to see life
Mhm.
from a different perspective. We begin to understand what money, wealth, and the relationship between that is. Then we begin to approach things differently.
That's facts. That's true. That's true. I think I'm building a new mindset as you are, as you're answering my question. I'm building a new mindset. I'm trying to see things differently, So I don't need anybody validation. I don't need, just myself. I don't need to prove anybody wrong. Just myself.
No, let your result, it is your results that will then, and you don't even need to prove anybody wrong. You just prove yourself right.
I'll just try to prove myself
You are
right.
not in any competition with anybody. See, life is a
Yeah.
solo race. You need people, but destiny is a solo race. You don't compare notes. Because you have more money than me does not mean you are more fulfilled than me. Because I have more money than you doesn't mean I'm more fulfilled than you. It's about
That's
understanding what the scorecard is. The scorecard of fulfillment is not finances, though financial returns, because money follows value. So
mhm.
when there is value, there will be money. That's the law of life.
That's true.
That is why most successful people have money. The money comes with it, but they are not measuring their success. If that is the case, then why is Aliko Dangote building a refinery? He already has enough. So why are these wealthy people still building? So it is not just about the financial scorecard. They have a bigger dream. They have a bigger picture. There's something more driving them than just the dollar, naira, and pound sign. But the poor are too, when I mean poor, I'm not saying poor in terms of the poor in the mind. They are too
Hmm.
fixated on everything is a measure of how much I have. So when I have a little, I have to make you know I have it. So I have to spend so much to appear rich. Most people end up being poor because they are trying to impress people that they are rich.
And that's true. Hey, sorry, that's true. We've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of people trying to prove others people wrong that, oh, I have so much money, and
Yep,
along the line they became broke. So
yep.
what would you say to someone listening right now who feels that they are already too far behind? What would you say to them?
So far behind by whose standard? By what measure? By whose dictation? There is nowhere it is written in life that you are far ahead or you are far behind. Who created these rules? Who said by
Mm.
20 you should have this? Who said by 30 you should have this? Who said by 40 you should have this? See, Usain Bolt is a sprinter,
Mm-hmm.
and Usain Bolt
Sorry.
runs 100 meters, 200 meters, 100 meters. There's a guy called Mo Farah. Mo Farah is a distance race runner. If because you compare both of them as athletes, you say Usain Bolt, who is a short distance runner to a long distance runner, who is better? Nobody is better. See, your race is different.
Mm.
Some people, they are short distance race runners. So when they run, they arrive at success very quickly. Some people are long distance runner. It takes them time to arrive. It does not invalidate the progress they are making. It's just because their race is different. You are never, please, as long as you have breath in you, the race is not over.
As long as I have breath in me.
As long as you have breath in you, that means there is a purpose left for you to fulfill. Please don't let social media put any tension on you. Most of the things there are fake. Don't let anybody's success intimidate you. That means you have not discovered your own purpose by yourself. There is enough wealth for everybody to succeed. So their succeeding does not mean you will not succeed. So if you think you're too late, the first thing you need to do is have a change of mind. You are never too late. Whenever your dawn comes is your morning. It doesn't matter if you're 50, you're 60, you're 65, you're 70. The day you decide that I want to change my life over, go for it.
Okay.
As long the only people that don't have hope are the people who have already died. When there is breath in you, that possibility of you making it is almost guaranteed. You just got to do the right things.
That's amazing. So if you could put one financial truth on every billboard in Lagos, in every university, in every WhatsApp group, what would that truth be?
Stop acting rich. Begin to act your wage.
Stop acting rich.
Stop acting rich. See, you have nobody to impress. See, people are not impressed by the new shoe you just bought. People are not impressed by, see, you bought a car, they'll say, oh, hi, bye. They've moved on to next. They've clicked your like button on your Instagram, on your post. They've switched on, they swipe left or right. They've gone on to the next person. You are not as important as you think.
Mm.
You will not show anybody. You will not shut anywhere down. Nobody can shut Earth down. Yeah, you did
Nobody.
it. No, yeah, we're going to shut the place down. Yeah, for 5 minutes. People move on to the next news.
That's fact. That's true.
Exactly. See, it doesn't matter what you do. You have the 5 minutes of fame, and then after that, it becomes boring. People move on to the next thing. Stop acting rich. Get the realization that begin to act your wage.
That's true.
You're,
I'm listening. Listening.
yeah, go ahead, please. I can see you got a question you were
Um,
going to ask me.
we just added new stuff to the show. So my last guest um dropped a question for you. So
Okay.
I'm going to ask you the question. My last guest said, how are you adding 1% growth in your life on a daily basis?
This is how I had 1% of my life on growth on a daily basis. Number one is I am very conscious of where I'm going, the final destination. Number
Okay.
two, I am very clear about my purpose.
Okay.
Number three, I am very clear about what I need to achieve on a daily basis for me to do that. And number four, I have four things I do. Read every day. I look after the mind. I look after my spirit. I look after my body, and I look after my family. Family means friends, relations, and all of that. And those are the things I do consistently that begins to add 1% daily at the minimum to have a compounding. Because what the person is talking about there is that's a compounding effect. If you want to
Yeah.
change 365, you don't have to worry about 365. Just focus on 1%. So make sure that your today is better than your yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
What have you learned today? You have 24 hours. You sleep for 8. What have you done for the other thing? What did you do for your body physically? What did you contribute to your mind? You are spirit, like it or not. What have you contributed to your spirit being? And
True.
because you can never be by yourself, what have you contributed to the people that are valuable around you?
That's a big question.
So if you
So
can do that consistently daily, because see, consistency is the most powerful thing you can do. See, tenacity is what most of us do. We are tenacious. We try to do something and all of a sudden we fizzle out.
that's
Consistency
true.
is more powerful than tenacity. See, don't aim for if you want don't aim to something big. No. How do you eat an elephant? A bite at a time. How do you build a castle? A brick at a time. That destination you want to get to, It doesn't matter how far it is a step at a time. Make sure you are moving a step at a time in the right direction.
Right.
Eventually, you will get to the destination. Anthony Trollope said something. He says, a small daily task, if it be truly daily, will outperform the labors of a spasmodic Hercules. What it's saying there is, if you can just do what you are doing consistently daily, people who show up occasionally, over time, you will outperform them.
Now that's fact. That's just it. That's just it. So, Coach Mo, what is that question you love to ask the next guest to the show?
We are at the end of the show. Thank you for watching from the beginning to the end. And I know that you've learned one or two things, but I'd love to hear your take, both negative, both positive opinion about everything you've learned. I'd love you to drop it in the comment section. And by doing so, you are also spreading positivity to those people that are going to read it in the comment section. Thank you very much.
Moonword talk, 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 Moonword talk. Yeah, we be the truth, be that light in the dark, let the vibe come through. Growth mindset, mind check. Yeah, we break the mold. Had to hustle, build the struggle, turn that pain into gold. Episode done, but the grind don't stop. Scraps and tapping, let's rise to the top.